Hi there guys, welcome to another unboxing video. We're going to be unboxing another tool for the workshop today. This is the Parweld plasma cutter. So yeah, let's crack on opening the box up and see what's inside it, shall we? Right, I brought the machine over to the workbench here. Not a bad little machine. It weighs about 12 kilos, so it's not that difficult to carry around. Got the nice strap here so you can kind of chuck it over your shoulder and carry it around wherever you need it to be. We'll have a look at the front of it to start with. It's got a nice little plastic cover here to cover up all the controls on it. The actual connectors that are connected to it, you've got one here which is the earth clamp, which we've connected to the table. The other one we've got here is the actual handle. Now this is 6 meters long, so it's really long. It's I quite like the fact that that's a really long cable. The only thing I think it might be a problem with it is that if you're carrying it around and you have to carry around this 6 meter cable, that may cause a slight problem. But for having it like we've got it now on a bench, we can pull it outside of this booth and we can cut out there. We can also bring it in here and cut it in here as well. So in that respect, I quite like it, but portable wise, this might be a bit of a problem carrying around a 6 meter cable. The handle itself is quite a nice little handle. I do like the safety catch on here. I can't press the button. To be able to press the button, I have to lift that little yellow tab up and to be able to press the button on it. So I do like that feature. If I put it down on there and I accidentally were to touch one of the buttons, it's not going to touch the button, it's not going to start and accidentally cut through anything. So I do like that little feature. The nozzle itself comes with this little, oh, if I can get it off, comes with this little stand, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it comes with that anyway. And it basically just gives me a bit of a space, so when I put it on, this sticks out slightly further than the actual nozzle itself, which means I get a little bit of space from there, and if I do cut through some metal or something, it doesn't go flying up into the nozzle and block it up straight away. So that's quite good. It's also, as you saw, quite easy to just take it off and then I can do more freehand. So that's quite nice. The nozzle itself and the handle itself isn't too massive. Without this on, it means I can really get into some really tight spaces and to cut quite accurately with it. So I do like the size of that. It's not massive, to be quite honest. So I'll put the guard back on there again. So that's basically the handle. It's not really complicated, but it is nice to grip. I do like the grip on it. I do like the safety catch on it. So the handle's quite nice. Moving to the controls on the front, it's a very simple machine to use. We've got a power light here, an overheating light there. If we do take the nozzle apart, or if there is a problem with the nozzle, it'll shine up there. Then we've got the knob in the middle here, which basically turns the amps up. And as you can see, we can go between 20 amp, it's marked at 30 amp, but it's marked again at 40 amps. So we can cut through some pretty hefty stuff really with it. It does have the voltages here. If you're using 110 in America, you'll get up to about 30 amps on it, but the 220 we're using here in Sweden, you get 40 amps out of it. The other switch on the side, we've got a run button, so when we want to cut it, it needs to be set in the run position. If we want to purge the system and test the airflow, we put it in the test mode. That's about it. I do quite like the fact that it's got this little plastic cover on it. The only thing I don't like with the plastic cover is it doesn't seem to fit properly. I have to kind of push the corners in to get it to stay there. I think that probably could have done with a better fit, or some kind of a little catch down the bottom here, because as soon as I open it, it's kind of flappy again. So every time you do it, you have to push those corners in to get the front to stay shut. But that's the front of the machine. Around the back of the machine, it's quite simple. It's got an on and off button. It's got the long power cable, I think that's 2 or 3 meters, something like that. And we've got the hose attached to it. This hose is the one that came with it. It's a black plastic hose. It does have this connector on the end, but that doesn't fit anything we've got. And it did have the quick release connector at the other end. I'm very dubious about using this particular hose, and for the reason being, it's plastic. This plasma is meant to cut and it's meant to give off heat. So I think the risk is that this will melt pretty quickly, and I think more melt rather than blow a hole in it. So we went for this hose instead. We basically cut off the quick release connector on the back, fitted it to this hose. Now this hose is an airline hose, and it's a bit more rigid. It's got the nylon bands inside it, but it's also made of, it's not rubber, it's like plastic, which means if you do get the heat on it, it's not going to melt as easily, and if it does get any sparks or anything on it, it'll probably bounce off of it rather than melt in the plastic one. So I think that is probably something that the manufacturers need to think about. That I don't think this black plastic hoses are very good, to be honest. Right, so we just switch the machine on. The green light comes on to tell us we've got power. It'll then do a quick test of the air to make sure we get some air coming out of the handle, which we do. And then we're pretty much ready to go at that. All we need to do really is to set the power up as to what we want to use, and then we're pretty much good to go. So it's a really, really simple machine to use. Again, I have to push the corners in to get it to stay there. So this is a really, really easy, simple machine to use. Right, we've been using this machine now for a few days, and we've been cutting some of the thin stuff here. I think this is about 4mm thick, something like that. Cuts really, really nicely. Really, really easily to cut through it. If you don't turn the power up enough, you will get the blowback on the back of it, but that's pretty normal. I've been using it on this as well, which is about 8mm thick, so it's twice as thick as the first piece, and it again does make a really, really nice cut when you use it. So just by turning the power up and down, we can do some pretty hefty pieces of metal out of this, and it does cut really rather nice, to be quite honest with you. When we have been cutting these pieces, the only thing we have noticed is the earth clamp. We sometimes get problems with it not earthing. We've tried connecting it to the bench here, but we get problems with this earthing. We have put the earth clamp straight onto the bench here, but we sometimes get problems with this earthing to this then. So we've had to put the earth clamp straight onto the metal. I don't know whether it's the earth clamp, I don't know whether it's the metal, I don't know whether it's the cable to the earth clamp being a bit on the thin side. Not really sure, but we have had a problem with that, but putting it straight onto the metal has made the problem go away, so that's not been a huge problem. Other than that, we found this to be a really, really nice machine to use. So, well, as you can see, it cuts really nicely in that thick material. Doesn't really take a lot of effort to cut through that at all. So if you're going to cut something long, like a long cut or something like that, then this will actually run at, and it will cut like 50mm without a problem. if you just want to cut something off, like a one-off cut of something, it will go all the way up to 20 mil. So it's fairly powerful actually for its size. It's probably not a hobby machine, with it having quite a high air usage. It's about 155 litres, so you probably do need a workshop compressor. So if you like the video and you want to see more, press that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, and bye bye.